Every time I learn a new piece, I try to get inside the head of the composer. If I can find the logic that binds a passage together, I don't even have to read most of the notes at all. Instead, I just follow the pattern to predict what comes next. Here's a simple passage to demonstrate how I'd look for patterns. In this example, there are several patterns layered on top of each other. The right hand starts on a sixth from E to C, and then slides down a step at a time until it's exactly an octave lower. In the left hand, there are two patterns. The notes on the beat start from C, and then move up by a step until they reach A. Then the pattern breaks, and there's a skip up to C. But just because it breaks eventually doesn't mean it isn't useful to think about until then. The other pattern does hold up through the whole passage, alternating groups of three notes that step down and three notes that step up. Okay, I had to resolve it. There's also another layer to this, which is how the hands interact with each other. Both hands start and end on C, and between that and the fact that there are no sharps or flats, I can tell that this passage is in C major. Once I've collected all this information, I no longer have to read anything. I simply reconstruct the pattern at the piano in whichever key I want. Here it is again in C major. And this time in F major. Reading this way takes some getting used to, but eventually it becomes exponentially faster than the brute force approach and leads to a much better understanding of what's going on in the music. As long as I've properly identified the patterns, I've got context for why every note is what it is. This helps with reading, memorization, and even interpretation.